Hello and welcome to What to Watch with Your Popcorn. I'm Dave.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to be reviewing the film Shadow of the Vampire with John Malkovich and William Dafoe.
Now this is quite an interesting picture. The movie is based on, it's a fictional film, but it's set within the making of the first film Nosferatu. And we have right here two versions of Nosferatu. We got the original 1922 version right here with Max Schreck and was directed by F.W. Murnau. And we've got the remake from 1979, which stars Klaus Kinski as Count Dracula and was directed by Werner Herzog. So this is a good tie-in. And Shadow of the Vampire takes place during the filming of this first version, and F.W. Murnau decides to hire a real-life vampire whose name is also Max Schreck to play the part, because he is a realist director where he pushes everything to make it look realistic. Like here, instead of shooting a lot of the movie in the studio, he wants to shoot it on location, and he does whatever it takes to get everyone to feel scared and whatever you have.
Yeah.
So let's start with you. What'd you think?
Well, I like the opening credits, how they show those colorful murals and everything while the names are being put across the screen, who's in it and all that, who directed it.
I love the opening credits too. They were very good to watch. I loved them, and yeah, that was good. And although a lot of this movie was very good too, like what struck me the most with this film was I felt it was put into the right hands. You can tell that the filmmakers appreciate this 1922 version.
Yeah. Because
they do so much. They try to recreate the costumes, the theatrical makeup. Even you could tell they did their research, because I bet you if we watched this and compared it to what we saw as the film was being shot in Shadow of the Vampire, they look authentic. Like the footage is in black and white, and they move the same way as their counterparts from the old film. So these people that made the movie, I felt, are definitely old movie buffs that like this type of thing, so they showed real great appreciation.
Well, plus you could tell they had to use a couple shots from the 1922 in there, the ones that they couldn't recreate.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, it was amazing. Even William Dafoe as Max Schreck, when he's playing the vampire, he moves just like the real Max Schreck, who was a real stage actor. He wasn't a real vampire. He was actually a German stage actor at the time, but he does the fingers, the thing with the teeth, and his movements and the eye stuff. It was just great.
Yeah, the acting was excellent. I mean, it felt like you were basically like rewatching like an even more up-to-date version of this, and it's just neat to see, because it's like I always wondered how this movie was filmed, and now you basically know, even though there's like this movie has a little more to it than just like filming this.
Yeah, it's not a story about how they exactly made the movie. It's definitely a nice piece of fiction, but I agree with you, because John Malkovich plays F.W. Murnau. He's a self-absorbent director, and he'll do whatever it takes for the film, no matter what anybody says. I mean, he cares about the film, and he cares about the realism, like when he's guiding the actors as the scenes are being shot, for example, or when stuff happens on the set and people are getting on edge, and the crew is getting on edge, and the director figures that this would work. And of course, he wants a real-life vampire in this movie. And William Dafoe, excellent, brilliant performance in this movie, in my opinion. He does excellent. Like I said, he recreates the Orlock excellent, and even the scenes were off the set where he's arguing with F.W. Murnau. Those are real great scenes too. He does an excellent job. That was probably the best performance in the film for me.
I noticed that he was able to talk to the actors while they were going through it, because back in those days when you were filming, there was none of the sound of voices was captured, so it actually probably made it a lot easier if the director could talk them through it. That way they really wouldn't have to read a script ahead of time, just basically go over it a little bit. Like nowadays you got to read the whole script because you got to talk everything out.
I agree with you about that. It's because Murnau's like, okay, now you're feeling this. Wait, now pick up the knife, do this, and stuff.
Yeah.
He guides them very well.
And I think it kind of made the actors a little less nervous too, because they basically they didn't really have to think about it. The director would think about it for them. The director would tell them what to think and how to look and how to react.
Yeah, because in 1922 there were no sound films. Everything was a silent film,
Right.
and they had to have the title cards. And there's some title cards here, like when they're bringing up to date on what's going on. Like there's a scene where, well, not a scene, but at the beginning they're talking about some real life facts, like F.W. Murnau did not pay the rights to film Dracula to Bram Stoker's estate. You know, there's
Right.
title cards that explain that. There's some other title cards where he has to leave production because one of the cameramen gets sick, and he has to go back to Germany and try to find a new cameraman, and then he has
Right.
to calm the backers down. There's a title card explaining that. So this movie, I think, is definitely going to be appreciated, I think, more with film buffs and people that like older silent films, perhaps, than
Yeah.
mainstream audiences.
Because usually in a silent film, you can still see the actor's lips moving, but you can't hear him talking, and then they always put a file card to say what he said, but they don't have everything that he said written. They just give the main idea basically.
Yeah,
and that's what was really fun about these 1920s films.
Yeah, I would recommend it. It's not a horror film. You mentioned in a documentary on the DVD that the director was nervous about calling it Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah, because he was saying it's not really it's not meant to be like a film about a vampire. It's more like about filming a vampire movie. It's not meant to be an actual horror movie like Dracula itself.
Yeah.
It's about filming a famous silent movie.
Yeah, so he was kind of nervous about that, but I think if people pick this up at the library or at Netflix, they're going to be like, oh, it's going to be a horror movie, and it's not exactly a horror movie. It's like you just said. Yeah, I do recommend this movie. I think it's more of an art film, and I think some people who don't appreciate silent films may not get into it. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have seen the 1922 version to get into Shadow of the Vampire, but I think it would be a nice supplement if you did.
Yeah, because you'll know more about what you're seeing and what you're getting into, and what to expect and all that.
Yeah. So, do you recommend this movie too?
Yeah, definitely. I recommend this.
Yeah, I love this. Of all the movies that we've been doing for Popcorn for this month, this one I think is my favorite because, I am a movie lover and all that stuff. So, I enjoyed this movie very much. So,
yeah.
Okay, so thank you for watching What to Watch with Your Popcorn. So, leave any comments about the video or about the movie itself, Shadow of the Vampire. And see you next time.